And welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we're not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week, complete with a big quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Raw and talk about all the fallout from Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, but not much, Christ. Like I've been saying since 1993, thank God for Monday Night Raw. Twitter at the weekend, on the AEW side, getting a little bit mouthy, getting a little bit cocky again. Because AEW was really good. AEW was really good, and I haven't missed that at all. But it's undeniable. Like, this is the year, like, that you're seeing the shift creatively. It's pointless talking numbers. That's not changing. Oh, yeah. Like, the market leader was the market leader when, like, it was ace for 20 years, and that's not going away. And they've solidified that position.
It was ace.
It was ace. And they've solidified that position in an entirely different way. So that's a different conversation for people who are more interested in that side of things. Like, we cover both these shows. And as if it hasn't been happening every week anyway, I think this weekend was like a lot of confirmation of just the difference in the creative energy of AEW versus WWE. And then, I don't know, Raw was just, like, for me at least, like a breath of fresh air. Because I was like, oh, no, like...
breath of stale air, more like.
For you.
A lot of repetitive feuds.
I saw you punctuate, you big idiot. Right, like, the it's still good pig in the air thing is what you're saying if you're watching friggin' SmackDown or, sorry, NXT. Like...
What?
I'm relieved to report for the fed heads amongst us that, like, Raw is still good.
Okay.
Otherwise...
Disagree, but okay.
Otherwise, you're watching it happen.
I disagree too.
I'm as sad as anybody, but it's happened. It's happened. You need a disruptor, a proper one, not Rock, like Punk, back in that locker room in AEW. Bring them all down a peg or two, because it's happening. We're witnessing the change, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. That's how wrestling works. Like, I have to accept it.
I do. Content slop Saturday night's main event, for which I had no expectations. I know what it is. It's just an incredibly rushed show. Rushed. And with rush should come exhilaration, but no. They somehow contrived to not do that either. Another blandly competent Raw that inspired me in no way, shape, or form.
Do you want to talk about the events of Saturday night's main event, or do you want to just mention it in relation to Monday Night Raw? We'll obviously talk a little bit more about it on the SmackDown preview.
Well, we can't talk about John Cena because he's not on Raw, so we'll have to dedicated segment to that.
Well, just on SmackDown, get yourself on.
Nah, I'm all right.
Okay. Like,
I'm not here. I'm off half term. I'm off Thursday and Friday.
Good point. We'll get you on the SmackDown review on Monday because there'll be follow up with John Cena. Massive main
We might not be there, so.
Well, I don't know, but like,
they might do a video package.
They're promoting a tag match. It's the biggest match in wrestling. So, Money in the Bank.
I mean, technically it is, and how sad a state of affairs that is.
Technically is a word.
Yeah, I know them.
All of them.
All three. All the words.
Yeah, there was follow-up, I guess, for the Raw stuff on this show. Direct follow-up.
The best thing on Saturday night's main event.
By miles. Like, by leaps and bounds. Which we knew it would be. And it's going to be easy to talk about it. Saturday night's main event was not a good show. I do echo Sidgwick's sentiments. Opening match and segment and all of that aside, which I thought was brilliant, like end to end. Pretty much everything delivered on below expectations. I will say, actually, because there isn't really any opportunity to follow this up, I saw, like, Drew and Damian Priest getting a bit of stick. I like the match, and I really like the ending. And I thought
Jesse Ventura was very funny as well.
Well, I was getting all like,
he's getting a bit annoyed.
Shut the up, old man. It was like what I imagine you must feel with Jim Ross in AEW. Like,
yes,
you are not
great.
You are not positively contributing, old man.
Obviously, you know.
Health aside, yeah. I don't mean that. Like, but yeah, like, this is the opposite of what your job is here. Do your job or shut up. And he was doing neither. And what was annoying was that as somebody that is like, I've broadly quite enjoyed Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in spite of like all the reasons not to. And I thought that was like quite a nice story for a WWE cage match. Like the whole Drew has been saying, I can't get away from him.
Sammartino.
Yeah, I can't.
Bruno finish.
I can't get away from him. I'm sick of him. And it was Damian Priest, the babyface, electing to walk away from it. And there was that moment of hesitation where it's like, I could keep battering him, and he didn't. And I thought that was like quite, Sami Zayn. It was quite elegant for a modern WWE cage match. And I'm stuck listening to friggin' Jesse Ventura just getting himself over. Like, I was the first wrestler who was a commentator and a wrestler. Like, do your homework, mate. Oh, man. Like, read a book. Like, you weren't, and everyone else has done it since. What you're saying isn't special. Like, people will criticize someone like a Pat McAfee, right? He does 50 times the homework Jerry Lawler ever did, and is better suited to Saturday night's main event than Jesse Ventura is now. That's the reality.
Lawler was better than McAfee on commentary.
At his peak, they're about the same. Like, Lawler, you can add to it was rubbish for 20 years. Like,
Lawler was better than McAfee.
Lawler comes back in 02.
Don't want to praise either of them.
Yeah, like Lawler's, what is it? Shoot, conditional, washed, 2002 onwards with an occasional, occasional line in. Yeah, like, so there's that 20-year run where WWE's terrible. Lawler's as big a part of that as anybody else.
90s Lawler was
absolutely good. Double treble good.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
But let's get to Raw then, because like you say,
Can I talk a little bit more about Saturday night's main event? Yeah.
Go on, if you want, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What do you want to say?
Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega.
Oh god, that top rope code red. Oh.
Oh my god.
Zelina Vega perfected the art of anti-wrestling. Everything you are trained to do and are meant to do, the opposite was encapsulated by that botched 619. It looked absolutely embarrassingly horrendous, and then she's seemingly busted someone's nose with a total overcorrection. Wrestling is meant to look devastating and in fact be safe. It was the complete opposite of what we're doing here. The opener was fun and loud for me.
It's what SNMEs used to exist for, wasn't it? That really hot opener with all the stars, the biggest angle of the show.
And then everything else, give a toss.
Yeah, that's like how, that was a scheduling thing, wasn't it? How they used to be back in the day, but they're not now, obviously. But that's what those 2-hour TV, that's the energy they should be summoning.
Yeah.
I think.
Main event, my God. I remember once, right? I don't know why this is stuck in my head. I think it was versus the Guns, where the Hardy Boys headlined a Dynamite, and that in itself would have been like toxic to me and what I like. But I feel like it was one of those where it was obviously wonky. First of all, Matt Hardy was there. Second of all, I think it was around 2023, so that was not a good time. I'm fairly certain, I'll have to clarify this later. Hardy's versus the Guns, last match on a Dynamite, when it was like, we'll just do anything in the main event, and it was just like too many wrestlers on the show. They need a 3-week, whatever. And I remember thinking, my God, they're so rushed off the air, and they've got so many wrestlers, hence why the Hardy Boys are in the friggin' main event for some reason, that they just, it's Cram City Jones. And it was like such a rush to get off that I was like, oh, the Hardy Boys have to move. Because you have to get to the finish. That means a little bit of urgency for once. That was the main event here. Absolutely nothing to the work whatsoever. Yet another massive WWE botch. That's becoming a problem. And but it was just so rushed, and we need to get this over with because Cody needs to come out and do the outline there to get. It was just like inoffensive because it was so hurried. The cage match. I mean, nothing's a cage match, so I'm not mourning anything. What else was on the show? R-Truth John Cena was absolutely terrible. They had an opportunity. Yes, the dates limit it. But they had an opportunity to have John Cena. Like, if you've got this thing where people seem to really like R-Truth, right? Dwell on that. Have John Cena be awful to him, manipulate him, have him as a heater. And then eventually, it's a bit Sami Zayn versus Bloodline, but that didn't invent anything at the same time. And then R-Truth is like, no, that's what you've asked me to do one thing too many here. I can't do it. Right, well, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to have a match on TV or pay-per-view. Like, build it. And they're just, if you're not going to do it that way, there is no reason to do it at all. And it was just this, I mean, I know it's R-Truth, his character is an imbecile, but even by the standards of that character, he just looked like an idiot.
I disagree slightly, but
I
have my own problems with it. Like, John Cena is not capable of fulfilling any of the roles that he's currently been required to do at an astonishing level.
His promo.
The backstage promo with Jey Uso was embarrassing. Like all of his pantomime villain ones in a weird overcorrection of the start of the heel turn have been pretty poor. But that was the worst of the lot. The way he was speaking to Jey Uso, like you could lift Jey Uso out of the scene.
He's worked 99.4% of his career with Vince McMahon. Of course he's this bad.
But that could
Vince
have been...
McMahon after he lost it.
Jey Uso could have stood there and you could have AI generated John Cena and it would have been the exact same thing. The match I have less problems with, but I will say this. So like I was a big fan of the R-Truth. Do you know, of all people, Alan Shearer did that and Gary Lineker picked him up on the bit of Match of the Day that I saw. Like Lesnar and Fury. I was like, what's that? I know that. I know what that feels like. I don't want to relate to him. He's awful. Of what I've heard, he doesn't sound like a nice guy.
No, me neither.
As opposed to Gary Lineker, he seems
just
like
rudeness.
Yes.
Just very arrogant and rude.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff.
Yeah.
The match I was more ready for, but in the same way I was backing Miz and Truth winning the titles at WrestleMania 40, they do a lot of the hard work with R-Truth. And if you're into it, you're very into it. And then they don't seem to know how to effectively stick the landing. Like when Truth and Miz won the belts, and then they had the next night. That was your thing, wasn't it? The John Cena. That was popped. Even you were got by that. And then they just had the belts for 4 months. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You've completely missed the point of the whole long joke that you set up. And I would say the same was true here. Like, so much of this was what I would have wanted. A little 2-3 week, when you actually do the attack, you have a 2-3 week mini program. It doesn't go long. It doesn't need a pay-per-view cycle, whatever. And with Sidg, there could have been more heat thrown on this one and you do it in 6 more months or whatever. But then Ron Cena and all, this is everything I would have wanted from all of it. And then like Cena cannot play the role of a Gunther bully. He cannot convincingly play the role of the guy who's maybe thinking, should I really be doing this to R-Truth? Truth's good. Truth's there for all of his stuff. Cena doesn't know how to do his babyface spots cynically to provide the contrast to R-Truth doing them as the babyface boyhood hero thing. He's not there for any of it. Like he's hopeless. He's so done in every aspect that he was undermining what I thought was them attempting to get it right. And I said, what a shame. Like,
I've got 2 more things to say about Cena, if that's okay, before we get to the Raw review. Thing number 1 is if you think this John Cena stuff is bad now, and you would be correct because it is, just wait until he starts to emote this redemption angle. It's going to be absolutely awful. Thing number 2, I might actually praise him here, right? He has returned for reasons unbeknownst to me. He just doesn't seem like he wants it. He doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. It just seems like an obligation. It was Ibu who made a great point that when The Rock came back last year, he was just doing 20 minutes on Instagram for that absolute love of cutting a promo. And this was so reflected in his work on TV, which wasn't quite as good because he couldn't drop F-bombs, and F-bombs are goated, but it was still awesome. It was still awesome. He'd just tell, like, in his little erratic whims way, he just loved it for a few months.
yeah.
I've never got that from John Cena once.
I got it literally once, I would say, in the chamber.
The chamber, he seemed up for it there.
Yeah. That's
But once. Rule-proving exception.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like he's locked in, like he really wants this, like he's dedicated. Maybe he has dedicated loads of thought to this and he's just got no thoughts running through his head and he's rubbish, like I said all along. Like,
I'd love to hear the story of when he...
I am getting to the compliment.
Sorry, when he thought he was going to turn heel versus... It's obviously been expedited. I'd love... He will never do this. It's just not John Cena's way. But I would love to listen to his thoughts on how he assumed this would go.
Yeah.
Before even a brief heel turn. You know, like 1-for-1 match where he turns babyface at the end, or if he thought, yeah, maybe in the summer, nobody's going to see that coming, or however it was going to play out, this was expedited. And I'd love to know how that's impacted what he thought this whole run was going to be, you know?
Absolutely. One more thing on Cena. This is the compliment, is that I might give him credit to being a worker because he is so checked out or uninterested or whatever that I can scarcely believe this is the same dude who was the mascot for how many years and who would like put himself through hell for those like ridiculously quick recoveries from surgery just to get back on it. Like the ultimate workhorse, John Cena, you know? I can't believe it's the same guy. If all along it's like, well, this is my job, and my job is to be the enthusiastic mascot, I can't wait to stop bumping and just get some acting gigs. But until then, off to work I go. I'm going to make it seem like I love this more than anyone's ever loved it ever. And as much as I never liked him ever, I was always like, well, he loves it.
Yeah.
He's dedicated and all the rest of it. If all along it was, well...
That was the frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Because he broke it for everybody else. It's
Yeah.
like, well, nobody can live like that.
No.
And you are actually doing this.
Yeah. If it was just him going, God, I don't have to... Like him waking up going, I can't be asked to do this. Hollywood, I'm ready. The call's on coming. Please call me. Please call. I've got to go out there and pretend. If he was pretending all along, what a worker.
Yeah.
What a worker.
That's funny. It's funny that you're reading it because I feel like I'm watching a man trying not to stink and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm seeing him like
why is he
failing, you know?
Why is he not on Instagram? Why has he got the most limited, dated idea to play heel, you know?
Yeah.
I understand the body's not willing, but the mind should be there. It's got no spark, no nothing. And you know it's a new day and age where you can get your ideas across. And as I said, like, it's all ideas. It's like why I think Levesque's overrated. Sat exclusively under the learning tree of Vince McMahon, and we're seeing all of that laid bare.
One more criticism of a particular wrestler on Saturday night's main event. Logan Paul stinks. Logan Paul is maybe my least favourite wrestler across both companies at the moment. Like, more than Pete Dunne or the Viking Raiders or, come on, like half the Collision guy. Like, I like, how many wrestlers I want to watch less than Logan Paul? He doesn't get it, and I don't think he ever will.
No, you won't.
I apply the top trumps rule. I think Americans have a version of it or whatever, but like it's whenever Steve Austin comes up and there's a comparison to Steve Austin and not enough people get it. That man is a 10 in more categories than probably any wrestler ever will be. Probably what makes him the best all-rounder ever, maybe. Well, I mean, best favourites, but you know what I mean?
Austin.
Like, Austin.
Yeah.
So many 10s. Logan Paul, on his best day, which was probably one of his first, realistically, looked like a guy that could reach high numbers in things like heel instincts and like earnestly great athleticism that could be converted into something more. Both of those have gotten worse, and none of the others have risen up from 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso's like so much of a 10 in overness and crowd connection that he almost becomes an 11, and he needs that because he's really low numbers elsewhere.
Yeah, really low.
Really low, but like when you got 110, that's absolutely enough. Like Logan Paul, it just gets worse because the less he seems to understand the putting together of a match and where he needs to be. I don't mean physically in the ring, but like where he needs to be to help move a story along rather than simply slide into the apron to do his buckshot or recovering and like doing a grin before he does another high risk maneuver that never feels high risk because there's no jeopardy to his efforts anymore because you've seen them all, and you've seen them all deployed in better matches, by the way. Like the Roman Reigns title match is one that he can, like, the image of him flying through the air is one he can hang on his wall and say, like, that was me once when I tried wrestling. I wish he'd stopped there. Yeah. I really do. I find his attitude towards wrestling infuriating. Like, I'm almost becoming like one of them wrestlers. It's like, he doesn't respect the business. But like, I don't think it's disrespect. I think he is incapable of understanding like the basic psychology of a match and does that. And there are 20 jock heels to be Logan Paul that will work harder at the fundamentals, you know? Like, swipe right might eventually get a better grasp.
Oh my God.
Right? Might get a better grasp of the narrative.
Brad Bálor. I
Brad
don't remember the other guy's name, but
might one day have a better grasp of the texture of what makes a great match, doing 10 less flips or jumps from the top rope, and Brad Bálor will have more value to me than Logan Paul does. And it's like another main event that he's part of, and then maybe him in the mid-card match is even worse, because like, whoa, the Ricochet match at SummerSlam, that was crap and all. AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Like, it's piling up that this man offers no value other than the obvious value that he offers. But I would even argue, sorry, it seems like a rant, but I've been thinking a lot about Logan Paul. Yeah. You know how Twitter, I know not all of us are in our 30s anymore, but Twitter is decidedly for people, let's say, in a particular 10-year age bracket of which we are all a part of. Mm-hmm. Facebook's for the nans, and it works downwards like that. I would argue Logan Paul is, say, for like TikTok or Snapchat or whatever, which itself is aging out of the youngest demographic, and I think that's what he's there for. Like, he's there to flog prime to kids, but I sense that like kids, like I Show Speed is probably like a level below that in terms of like the youth market and how to, whatever like the next like cool YouTube or zeitgeisty type act is that kids are going to like, love him, love them, whoever. I don't even think it's Logan Paul anymore. I think Logan Paul's closer to sort of... We wouldn't know, but I don't sense that whatever that real sort of finger on the pulse of having a Logan Paul be part of your product 2-3 years ago, that moves really quickly. That's pop culture. That always moves faster than anyone can keep up with. And I sense that like Logan Paul is already starting to become a little bit passé in those circles. It's like Kenny Omega used Mr. Beast as the example. It's like I'm looking at Logan Paul and from like a YouTube clickbait celebrity going, what else you got? Like I Show Speed was more entertaining at the Rumble, for example. Yeah. And I just think there will be more and more people to come down the line that make Logan Paul look like a bit of a dated artifact of a bygone era. Got no time for him.
No.
I'll be the one controversial to say it. Don't think he's a great guy.
Nah.
I'll put it out there.
Nope.
Well, let's get to Raw and the show opened.
Not being ignorant, I need to dig up a tweet.
The show opened with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed, the newest member of this heel stable, walking out. Breakker and Reed dressed the same, all black suits, black shirts, shoes, sunglasses. You see Dijak's tweet?
I saw that.
I can have a guess at what he might have said. I think we have a button for that, do we not?
I do believe so. It's going to make me sad playing it again, but I'm going to play it regardless.
Hey, Dijak, take those stupid sunglasses off. We're inside.
Wagner Watch.
Come Tuesday.
Okay.
Legend.
Love him so much, bro. Love him so much, bro.
So Heyman cuts a promo, calls Bron Breakker. No, I can't say it's Bron now, can I? Bron Breakker an attack dog and the badass in the bloodline of badasses. Key to the future, he says, if someone sent a Terminator from the future to today, and you ask that person who's going to main event WrestleMania 45, 46, 48, blah, blah, blah. They'll tell you that answer is Bron Breakker. That's not a spoiler. That is a spoiler, not a prediction. The crowd chants for CM Punk, and Heyman informs everyone he's not here tonight. And that is because of Bronson Reed. He also claims that WWE wouldn't allow Reed around top guys because they're too afraid. He's reckless, he's violent, he'll put everyone down. And he went after Rollins, of course, a few months ago because he was a top guy and gave Rollins a bigger beating than Roman Reigns or CM Punk ever did, even combined at WrestleMania. And then he said, I wrote this down because I wanted to get it right. Get down on your hands and knees and thank the heavens above for the altruism of this man to my right, the sacrifice Seth Rollins is willing to make for each and every single one of you so that the trajectory of this industry is bigger than ever before. I give you the most generous man I've ever met in my entire life, the epitome of the epiphany, the visionary, the architect, the future of this entire industry. Ladies and gentlemen, acknowledge Seth freaking Rollins. Rollins says this is the way forward for the industry's future through total control, domination, and power. There was F you Rollins chants, you sold out chants, and Rollins is like, it's my group. What's sold out for? Also, you were literally just singing my song a few minutes ago. A song, of course, as we know, that goes like this. You people, you morons, don't even know right from left. You don't know what's good for you. But you're telling me I'm the bad guy here, that I don't deserve the power. I'm the only person who does. I'm the only person capable of leading this company into the future. He said he'd be champion right now if not for Zayn and Punk. But he's more powerful than being the champion. The thing that's more powerful than being the champion was holding money in the bank and controlling the fate of the championships. He's going to win Money in the Bank, cash in whenever and wherever he wanted. Nobody could stop him. And that is true power.
I thought this was only okay, but I loved the setup angle for it on Saturday night's main event.
For the love of God, will somebody say Senator Sidgwick? Jesus.
Senator!
He's been like that for like a minute.
I was too engrossed in Wilbourn's recap of some
Sorry. He's better promo than Seth Rollins, that's why. He says considerably better promo than Seth Rollins.
I don't disagree with that. The angle at Saturday night's main event was fantastic, I thought. Bronson Reed, obviously the guy that CM Punk was credited with injuring in War Games and being brought in. How that played out, so like, I don't know if you saw, but like he sent him through the barricade.
It was unbelievable, that spot.
But I never want to just do that. A big forum trick in the when WWE was trash, 20 years, early 2010s, was like when a wrestler you liked cut a promo that was good, you would say he's probably had control over that. Versus every other single scripted word of Raw being like, too scripted, this rubbish. Like, apart from this wrestler I enjoy. So I don't know. I don't want to just credit Punk but he is good with the details.
Yes.
And you can sort of imagine him say, what if this? What if, like, him reaching in the ring and just grasping desperately, injured off the barricade spot for Paul Heyman's legs of all things and tripping him. And then Bronson Reed just going, whoop, whoop, and just like splatting him. I thought it was such a cool spot.
That was cool.
And then them holding him down to take what Seth Rollins had endured like 5-6 times, whatever it was. Again, the visual of him just being, whoever came up with all of that and put that together deserves kudos from this just being a standard reveal of Bronson Reed entering the stable. And it like logically it all makes sense. But then, again, the extra detail of Bron Breakker kind of ready to go for Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins being like, it's cool, he's with me, we're all good. And then Bron Breakker being like, all right, fine. Those are the details that still has me fighting for this title when it's clearly been lost. Because already, Paul Heyman is a charlatan, introducing Seth Rollins a charlatan because he's already keeping Bron Breakker out of the loop. Like, there's your first, well, not even your first, but there's another Triple H Batista comparison, the good kind, of like, one of these days, not for ages, but one of these days. And there's the very sort of like
2029 by Levesque's rate.
It's LTST, Sidg. That's all we ever want. That's what we campaign for. Like, I really, really love the details throughout that reveal of Bronson Reed. I didn't love this. This is not quite right. They've got time to get it right. The suits, it's a bit Route 1. It's a bit basic. Paul Heyman's so vain that he couldn't even dress the same as the other two to further illustrate the contrast with him and Seth Rollins. Didn't like that. Like, this didn't feel quite right as a follow-up, to be honest. I like the stable. I like the act. I do buy into Seth Rollins as a guy that wants this belt. And again, it kind of comes to stopping Bron Breakker getting it. You're kind of putting a thumb on the aspiration of your guys that are also on the come up, and you're at the same time doing things like, I'm going to be the guy that's going to get you to the top. Not the top. Not the final boss. I'm the final boss. It's very much like seeing
assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah, it's like seeing The Rock speak to Abe on NXT. That's what Seth's doing to them. So I like.
He knows
the
all about the bloodline, of course.
I like the layout of all of this. Didn't particularly care for the performance of any of it here.
Immediately thought of you with this Seth Rollins promo.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. None of this is really for me. I think I've determined here. I wouldn't make it look like Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker are, like the visual comparisons between those two. It's like they're fighting a losing battle with, Bron Breakker's Batista. I said this all along. He's so far ahead in terms of crowd connection and ability where Batista was when he first joined Evolution that this just feels like a really unimaginative vehicle. Like, you're not going to get the same thrill of, is Batista actually good? And can you put him in the main event? Like, really, Batista, because he was just a henchman, and like, you're not going to get that. They're trying to replicate it, even though they're going to send their leaks and they're going to send their communications out of like, no, that's not the idea, but it is. Don't take the piss. Let's not take the piss.
It's a weird thing to push back on, because what's wrong with trying to make a babyface WrestleMania headliner next year?
I know.
It's a good thing. Like, the timeout, you could have it by the Rumble, couldn't
I
you?
will
Like,
hold my hands up if I'm wrong, and I will let it play out, because he did show me something in that awesome mini-series with Strowman last year. But Bronson Reed is a giant with no presence who's going to eat barricades every other week. I can't possibly get excited. Like, if you look in totality at this dude's career and his run in the Fed, like, 5% of it's been good. So I can't really get on board with it being this awesome thing. We'll see. Punk might be able to do something with him, but I don't think Punk's ever been that great at working big men. I really don't. I think it's one of the flaws, other than Joe, in the Fed. Never for me. He's got this thing, Punk, where, like, he doesn't realize how small he is sometimes. I remember him clotheslining Batista over the top rope as a babyface and thinking, nope, not for me, that. Anyway, another thing that I don't like about this, and you can probably guess, I tweeted on April 22, 2025. For full transparency, I got one of the dates wrong, but you know what I mean. If January 5, should have been 6. If January 6 to April 20 was WWE completely bottling the run-in, the Raw after Mania felt like a promising win on the first day of the new season. I'll wait until Heyman and Seth start talking weekly before upgrading decline to blip. I knew it. I knew that Seth Rollins was going to take an unbearable amount of time to go from one scripted line with no real distinct character or emotion or, anything about it to the next one. I knew for a fact that this dude was going to do 0.25 speech. I knew it. This idea of he's calculating and sinister, and if you think you're going too slow, no. They're just going to sing you. They're just going to sing your song anyway. Says do what you want. None of this means anything. It's not real heat. I knew they were going to do this pause-ridden, this pause-infested, cerebral, sinister. And I understand the character, right? I've been watching this for long enough, right? Heist of the century, betraying the Shield, Plan B. He's meant to be this really, and to be fair, for someone who's got so little in the way of true magnetism, main event charisma, he's the 6.5 in every category if we're doing the Austin scale. The mind must be 10.
Yeah.
To have politicked, to have played good boy, to have been he's the Milner, the Henderson.
Picks his spots quite well, doesn't he, backstage?
Yeah. He must have a mind. So why therefore, and it's inability on his part, why therefore when I'm watching him playing sinister, calculated, this puppet master, this guy who's ahead of it all, he's got the problem with Seth Rollins always has been and always will be the fact that he doesn't have presence. He's cutting promos like he's Jake Roberts and he's not Jake Roberts. He's cutting promos like he's Raven and he's not Raven. He's cutting promos like, he's not any of these guys. I don't think of him as sinister, as this great intellectual. He's not Bockwinkel. He's not, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's not doing anything for me. I'll tell you that much. Just actually tedious television. It is him doing Sermon Seth in a boom period.
No, I was going to say, performance-wise here, he just rolled it back
awful.
To when he was presiding over Buddy Murphy, AOP, and Austin Theory, and that was rubbish then. This is the bravery. If Seth Rollins is really confident in this role and wants it all over again, change your cadence and bin the music. Be brave on 2 counts.
Yeah.
Be brave on 2 counts. Don't do what you've done before as a heel, as a cult leader, or as this the religious visionary type thing he was doing in the pandemic.
Kevin Sullivan, no.
Yeah, brand new heel voice and bin the music. Show that you're brave enough to drop that. We use him as an example for all sorts of things because he throws everything at the wall and only half of it sticks. But it's a good example. Chris Jericho in the suit. Right, he would have gone the whole hog and got rid of the music. That was a Vince McMahon call to keep it. But he would have changed his music when he changed it into the suit. Don't make me any merch. My promo style is designed not just to cut off the watts, but to cut off everything. I don't even want to give people a gap to boo me when I'm doing my big line. He would purposely try and he convinced them to let him sort of have an involvement in the scripting so that he would change this word for a very long, obnoxious word.
Gelatinous.
Recalcitrant is what I remember, right? And he would do that, but then they would still do that. And tonight, on Monday Night Raw, and he would remove them in his performance because those gaps have existed forever for the boos or the cheers or whatever. And he was like, no, I'm taking it all. It's got to go. If Seth Rollins took away the music and completely updated his heel promo style, then I'd be more into thinking, he really wants this brand spanking new. Not just he's not being given a legacy run or you've been there's a video that isolates a debate me and Sidg had over Seth last week that I think is worth a watch, where broadly I'm on the side of Seth Rollins as this selected heel of 2025 Raw, but this promo is good evidence against it. I think it's an interesting one to watch. He's a very interesting guy.
I argue the opposite.
To analyse.
Yes.
To analyse. An interesting person and wrestler and character to analyse, Seth Rollins, for the again, I'm a situational Seth guy for these reasons, but there are plenty of weeks where it's like, and I'll only ever be situational. I will never, ever, ever love you, Seth Rollins, because you make it too hard.
More on him and his group a little bit later on, of course, with this Money in the Bank qualifier. Speaking of which, we had a triple threat. Chad Gable versus Penta versus Dragon Lee for another spot in Money in the Bank. We saw El Hijo del Vikingo at ringside before this. And, the Lucha guys agree. What?
Too many friggin' too much stuff.
He's the future AAA mega champion, I'll have you know.
Don't care. That's funny.
That was funny.
But
Pure contempt for everything except themselves.
Worlds Collide. Another show I don't want to watch. Keep promoting those.
When is it?
It's
the same day as Money in the Bank.
Money in the
or
Bank
day
weekend or something. Oh. Watch a friggin' TNA pay-per-view next or something. Bloody hell.
Same day.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the NXT title, man, bloody have to.
What's going on, man?
But yes, Penta and Dragon Lee agree straight away. Well, there's an unspoken agreement. Double super kick to Chad Gable as soon as the bell rings. There's a fun, I suppose, not for people involved, but for me watching, fun spot early on. Penta, I think, tried to drop Dragon Lee backwards with like a gory bomb. And was it a face buster he was going? Well, he certainly busted his face. He just dropped Chad Gable right on his head.
We're nearly reviewing a Raw today and not talking about the rest of the show.
Yeah.
This close. Like if you've not seen it, yeah, it's a double move where he's dropping to his ace kind of at the same time. Chad Gable in the middle, like a outward spike pile drive type thing with his head.
Spectacularly ill-advised and conceived.
That's like, if you've not seen it, it's not a nice spot to reminisce on. But the whole Austin Owen pile driver goes wrong. Owen is going to his arse, and Austin's head, if you've seen the clip a million times, is through the legs. Penta is doing that exact spot with somebody on his back for the sort of the neck spot.
The gory bomb component.
The gory bomb, yeah. What the hell was that? Like they were. This was like an ambitiously structured match, and a lot of it worked.
That was really fun, yeah.
It was pretty fun. And I suppose you don't get the fun match without the ambition of thinking of the various spots that make it work. This was a bridge too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully everyone's all right. And Penta hit a big dive onto both of them on the floor as we go to break. When we come back, Gable's clearing the announce table. Dragon Lee just flies in. I think Pat McAfee was as surprised as I am when this happened. The ref checks on Lee and Penta because they've taken each other out. Gable just cheap shots Vikingos there at ringside, just enjoying the match. What a brilliant dickhead he is. Dragon Lee comes back, though, hits a poison rana. Penta goes for the Penta driver, but Gable counters. What a freak he is, with a double German suplex to both Penta and Dragon Lee.
That looked really good. That's how you do a move to two people.
Yeah.
Hits a moonsault for two. Gable gave Dragon Lee an overhead suplex into the turnbuckle that looked great as well. Set up for another moonsault, but Vikingo hops the barrier and kicks him right in the face. I think that's when he got busted wide open. Gable trying to recover, gets hit with a Dragon Lee double foot stomp off the top. Penta hits Dragon Lee with a Canadian Destroyer, and the Penta driver on Gable gives Penta the 1-2-3. He qualifies for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I would say this is like a multifaceted success story, I guess. The match was really entertaining. It was. I will say it would have had not just this move that we kind of have to go back to. Had Gable not been immediately okay or seemingly okay, the vibe would have been off for the rest of it as well. So that was a real turning point for the match either way. But then I think because he was fine, there was also a sense of relief that washed over, and then you can get back on to sort of enjoying what was basically a spot fest. But it was a good advert for, I don't know if WWE can see this through, owning AAA, or even how much control they'll have over it. But they decided, and then they do this once in a blue moon with Dragon Lee, and I guess they're going to have to try and do it a bit more with someone like Vikingo, to present a version of Lucha that isn't just a total bastardization of it, which is ideal ahead of Worlds Collide. Because often that's what WWE does. They show you a version of wrestling they're not really very good at, and then you're like...
Or have no inclination to do faithfully.
Yeah.
Both work.
Yeah. And then as a result, it doesn't go well. This was the opposite of that. Vikingo looked better here than he did at WrestleMania, when he just looked like a total loser, and just piling up the losers for Worlds Collide. Get hyped. This loser versus this loser. So that was a massive step back in the right direction for him. And then they've told you he's going to win the belt. So it's well, that's good. A good week for Vikingo.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And I keep saying this. They are continuing to, rather than walk, Penta's little dance, the tightrope with Penta. He is staying over, and less so with me because I think I know where they see him. But every single week I'm saying this on Raw, and every single week the fans still coming up for him. And on this evidence, the push isn't dead yet. They've got one more ridiculous frigging ladder Canadian Destroyer and Money in the Bank. Everything feels like, oh, when's it going to be the Lucha Brothers now? And yet they keep putting one more thing in front of Penta's path to make it seem like not yet. So I would a big success this, in spite of things that I was ready to sit arms folded in front of.
I had a lot of fun with this. I still don't think it's like proper, the genuine thrill and the distinct like quality of the very best Lucha Libre. This is WWE doing Lucha Libre.
Yes.
But it was still WWE doing Lucha Libre as well as WWE could do it. This was like really, really an exciting spot fest. Like Dragon Lee, it's about time. And it's the most boring take, but you need range, you need excitement. Ideally, you want to be excited when you watch anything that you escape into, like much less professional wrestling. But that dive, he's a missile. This guy, packaged correctly, given time to just and freedom, is an incredibly exciting pro wrestler. He's still like really physically in good nick, good health, like still really dynamic, explosive. It looked like a missile. It was awesome. Elements of this match were fantastic. Unacceptable. Like unacceptable. Like I just don't know who approves that. It's one of those spots where you think, what do you think is going to happen? What is the margin for error? Is this WrestleMania? And only when you ask yourself those questions and you arrive at the answers, you think, no, let's not do this.
Gable would have had to been so high up Penta's body that he would have needed to do that, like, you know, that Rob Van Dam bump where he like almost like
I love that.
Like bounced off his head like it's a pogo stick.
Yes.
You've seen that one.
Like the Sunloaf bump.
Yeah. He was already too low down for that. And Gable's got those like amazing shoulders and he's got a lot of spring himself, so he could have done it, but you would have needed him like sort of halfway in a waistlock rather than trapped in a pile driver. It was just...
And he got chinned later on by AJ Styles as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bad night for him.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. Unacceptable. Who cleared it?
We go to the clubhouse.
Oh, God, I hate these dudes so much,
this.
man.
This was great.
Great.
So you have Finn and JD living their best lives. Dirty Dom's playing video games with Carlito. And Roxanne Perez walked in with I was going to say a plate of chicken nuggets. A platter, a ridiculous number of chicken nuggets on like
that
a
needs
silver
to keep
tray.
bigger. Keep making that bigger.
She brings them in. Dom's like, brilliant. And then she says, ooh, shoulder yours is looking a bit tight there. He's got the belt on it, obviously. Give you a little massage. And then in the background, you just hear, konnichiwa, bitches! She's back!
Great.
Liv's back. Dom's face is a picture, obviously.
How do you not see her coming?
Because he was too busy. His eyes were lost in Roxanne's. Finn saw her coming.
Yeah. Seriously, if I'm remembering this right, there's no way on earth you wouldn't have seen her coming.
Oh, God, no. She's right there.
Yeah, exactly. Just thank you for my sanity. Thank you.
Dom tries to explain things away, and Liv says, you don't need to explain anything. Raquel's been keeping me clued in as to what's been going on. Things are about to get interesting. Finn Bálor, by the way, looks like a kid at Christmas at this point. His face is incredible.
You sort of have to watch the segment twice. One to ingest a fantastic storytelling cinema and the other just to watch Finn Bálor. It's worth the second bite.
There's a few memes from this weekend. There's a great photo of, there's an incredible photo of Kenny Omega, by the way, doing the thing, which we'll talk about later, by the way, on our Double or Nothing review. There's a great photo of Mark Briscoe's face covered in blood, like, and then it's a great photo of Finn that someone's isolated where he's like, yeah, this is the best.
Honestly, it's like Inspector Gadget. His neck's trying to look around the corner to get a better view of like the chaos he's causing. Brilliant.
Anyway, Liv's off to a Postman Pierce's office to get a Money in the Bank qualifier, and she leaves, and Carlito just says, you got to stop trying to eat her nuggets, bro.
We isolated all this surprise last week, and I want to do it again because I feel like they continue to apply thought here in all the little ways. The important ways, Liv Morgan returns, and the clear goal is her as a babyface at a minimum, or her and Dominic as babyfaces leaving the group because Finn thinks he's going to oust them or he's outsmarted them or whatever. Her coming back and saying, no, I'm up on this. I'm not thick. I could watch the show and Raquel's my eyes and ears on the ground. So there's immediately like a babyface trait. And then she says, I'm going to go get a match tonight to try and qualify for Money in the Bank, not where's my title shot. Like heels just want to walk in and waltz in and get what they want. Like little additional details that they keep adding to this. There's care being put into this story. And historically with Judgment Day, long-standing things, even when, and I'm a big fan, but even when like we express frustration at how long these things take, the payoffs are gold every time with these big Judgment Day arcs. Like the end result, like you think about the SummerSlam one with Liv and Dom, or like Damian Priest's cash in. Like the payoffs to so many of these big Judgment Day stories are always really, really good. And I've immediately got faith again in this one. It just feels like care is being placed into this. And I'm enjoying it for what it is right now with the daft comedy side. But there will be outcomes and there will be like big, loud payoffs to all of this, I sense as well. And it's going to be really cool.
I am a very begrudging, sometimes you got to hand it to them, observer of the Judgment Day, the stable, which I've never, I used to sing the song and all the rest of it. It's hard not for me, right? So that's a caveat. Take this following however you want. It's just not really my thing. There's a difference between a story with idiots and an idiot plot. This is an idiot plot. How are you so stupid to look at Finn Balor's face and not realize he doesn't want this to go well for certain parties of the Judgment Day? You know, it's just stupid. Dominic Mysterio, right? You're in a relationship with Liv Morgan, and yet I'm to believe, watching this segment, I just haven't communicated with her to make the events of the plot happen. How does that work? WhatsApp exists. Mobile phones have existed in proper circulation for 25 years, if not longer. What are we doing here? It's dumb.
Maybe she wanted to come back to surprise him. Nice little, hey.
And Dom does sort of leave messages on red when this kind of thing's going on. Happened last time with Rhea. It's happening again with Liv.
It's dumb. It's an idiot plot. It's an idiot plot. I can understand why, like, Finn Balor's face is funny, I guess. I just don't like it. It's not for me. It's fine. I'm trying to be nice because I do think, I mean, Triple H's got one story for each angle, and he's just telling it for 3 years, and how does he keep getting away with it? It's molasses slow.
I did appreciate the shout out.
It is ridiculously repetitive.
I was grateful for Big Paul's shout out on SmackDown. Hi, it's the game Triple H.
I saw that.
I was like, that's so.
That
He's
an idiot.
He's this big dumb idiot.
He's a big
That's
dumb
the game Triple
moron,
H.
because if that catches on, the second you get like a bad match or a rematch or something, the cool tweet should be, "Hi, it's the game Triple H." You know what I mean? Just on every single one.
Just so matter of fact. He's not called himself Paul for like 30 years. I know the game Triple H, good to meet you. Game Triple H, good to meet you. You know, like one of them wedding lineups that you used to get where you'd have to like say
like a bit in the office. What's your wrestle name?
It's the game Triple H.
We don't have WrestleMania, but we do have Money in the Bank. It's one of the most dramatic and exciting. If you win Money in the Bank, you get to go to WrestleMania.
It's so
you can even cash in at WrestleMania. The show I'm trying to pretend isn't that very good compared to Money in the Bank.
I am the game Triple H. Friends in New Orleans. I'm not going to come to TV and lie to you like The Rock.
So you should have said.
Like that, but that was the framing of it. Was like sort of, there's no crowd here. I'm not chasing a pop. I'm just here to be honest with you. I like that asshole Dwayne Johnson. The framing of it was like, he could have done that in front of a live crowd, but then they would have been like, oh, he kind of looked like a big lying idiot. Not me. I don't want to take the attention.
I'm the game Triple H. Unlike that big pussy Dwayne Johnson, I'm going to be straight with you here. Okay.
I'm usually Team Dwayne, but I've got to say Triple H bring it back to Las Vegas. I'm like, well.
Hey, New Orleans. I like beignet as much as an S guy. Apparently not, because Dwayne Johnson does not like them. He's a loser, unlike me, who always wins.
The game Triple H.
Out. Rusev versus Akira Tozawa. It was a squash. Tozawa, I mean, maybe got a shot in, ripped off his t-shirt, and then just got destroyed by Rusev via the accolade submission. He wouldn't release it after the bell. Sheamus came out and they confronted each other.
Fans were loud-ish for Sheamus and Rusev, so they've probably got more patience for it than I do. Like,
I didn't get much of a pop from any of this.
It doesn't feel...
I quite like it.
I mean, from the crowd, I didn't pop, I don't care. But they didn't seem to receive Rusev as a big deal at all.
No, not Rusev is a big deal. That match, I think they saw something in that match. It's not fresh. I don't know how It's an example of this back in the Vince era, and I can't remember who it was.
Defrosted.
It's defrosted.
It's not fresh, it's defrosted.
There was a wrestler who signed. It might have been AJ Styles. I can't remember, but there was a wrestler who signed, and you would just immediately line up the dream matches, and you're going, him. Edge. I think it was Edge's comeback.
Orton again.
Randy Orton.
Seth. Why is it always Seth Rollins?
Joking me. Randy Orton. Like 20 guys that you could face.
20 guys in there.
It's to me, it feels like that with Rusev and Sheamus. Saw them together, saw them apart, singles, tags. I've seen everything. But is it in fashion, meat matches? Is that still a thing? But like, I think it's still in fashion enough that like, ooh, they're going to hit each other really hard. Great. Like, there's one of them every week on TV, on every TV show. Like,
I've seen everything.
Yeah. Oh, he's really going to mark his chest up. Well, he shouldn't to work. But like, that's what we're getting. And Sheamus is going to be like served to Rusev, and you've got to rebuild. You do have to rebuild. We were talking about Rusev a bit in the office. There is an element where you cannot criticize WWE for managing to cultivate a brand new fan base and then immediately say, well, then these brand new fans don't know Rusev. You've got to rebuild him. You've got to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He's monstered a jobber. Now he's going to fight somebody slightly higher up, knocking out gatekeepers all over. You do have to do that, and I accept that because you've created this new fan base, and that's always what you need to be doing. But I don't think Rusev expected to have to help curate this new fan base. I just sense through his work, he continues to expect a bit more for what he's doing than what he's actually getting. He gets medium reactions for medium work, and I think he thought he would be like, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I really put it to him down there, didn't I? It's like, no, the one that put it to him down there is a way bigger star on the same show, mate. Like, I don't think he's coming across performing as if he's like, I'm here, I'm back. Let's go to work. Well, it's like, I think you've got to impress. I think a lot of the fans are like, what else you got in Rusev? And I think that's reasonable as well. Yeah. What else you got, Rusev? Maybe we'll see it in the Sheamus match, and it really is the path back to where he was at, and he's going to come out in a tank at the next WrestleMania. But I feel a long way removed from that.
Yeah, I'm already thinking, hey, Rusev, what else you got? This was Naughton or something as a squash. Like, I don't know if the idea was, like, right, because they've actually built this on TV. And I don't know if the idea was, hell, if they're building it, you might get a Miro versus Fuego-esque hope spot, a bit of like, where the hell has this drama come from? I don't know, but I'm loving it. And I don't know if they were meant to sort of like raise your expectations for like a little bit of a hope spot from Tozawa. And then this was like, oh God, he got nothing. And that's like a really funny, like mean-spirited squash. I didn't get that at all. It was like, this could have been like, well, coming up, we've got an unannounced match. Tozawa's in the ring. Miro's going to beat him. Rusev's going to beat him because this only exists as a backdrop to do the Sheamus Rusev confrontation. Like, if you're going to build something on TV, give us something. Like, this is a squash match. This didn't have a little subversion of, oh my God, the little jobber guy's going to get something. And it didn't have this, like, really, you got to be, like, really physical in there in a squash. Like really cruel and violent. I got literally nothing out of this. I kind of convey how little I got, even by using the word nothing, because this was nothing.
There are 3 runs that I'm thinking of here that Rusev should study, or WWE should sit down and watch and look back to get what I think they're trying to get out of this Rusev run. Those would be 2012 Ryback, 2016 Braun Strowman, and 2014 Rusev. Yes. Like, actually look back at those tapes and see what got those 3 monsters over to the point where, like, in the case of 2 of them, you were headlining pay-per-views and thinking, if they just created a brand new drawing top liner here, and in the case of Rusev, nobody wanted him to lose to John Cena at WrestleMania because it was the end of something that actually mattered. Like, all 3 of those were supremely effective. And monsters have to lose in the end, but you run it as much as you possibly can. And I don't think they're doing that with Rusev yet, and I find that weird, because they know what they've got, and so does he.
Kathy Kelly interviews Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura backstage about their respective Netflix specials, which is funny because Tom Segura, you may remember a few years back, slagged off WWE and basically was made to apologise here by saying, oh, Cody Rhodes came on my podcast and kind of convinced me.
I'd forgotten about that because I remember he used an ableist slur, and I was like, there you are, more chuds on the Netflix show. Great. Like, just made me hate this relationship even more so. They're bringing these dickhead comedians out every week. And I'm not being whatever comedy you're into. Like, is Raw like the worst setting for them? Because they all come across like dickheads unfunny dickheads that can't do their actual job. Every time they put one of these out on TV, make me laugh, asshole.
Make me laugh, isn't that your job?
That's your job. You're a jokester. I come across like all of them.
Yeah.
Like, line up.
From that, some of them seem to be them. So.
Well, indeed, yeah. I've seen some clips of this guy, and like he seems pretty funny.
Yeah,
like,
their podcast's really good.
Yeah, I don't think he's maybe adjacent, but I don't think he's as chud as some of the other ones I've had on. But like, they're just arseholes, just dislikable cretins. F off. Like,
Bert got excited because he saw the War Raiders and took his shirt off.
Yep, first person to get excited with the War Raiders in 6 months. He played his part there at least.
Was pretty cool when they neck the beers that way, wasn't it? Pretty impressive.
So he's funny.
He's funny. This guy. Give him a call. Oh, you did. It was on Battleground. A highlight.
Highlight of many. Sami Zayn meets with Jey Uso backstage. He's sick of hearing all this talk from Rollins and his boys. Zayn was like, I should have gone out and confronted them. And Jey quite rightly said, yeah, that wouldn't have been a good idea. He's got Bronze Ring Bron Breakker stood next to him. But, go in there, win Money in the Bank, or win this qualifier, win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and don't worry, if there's any trouble tonight, I got you back.
Sami Zayn is incredible. It needs to be remembered that Sami Zayn joined or first came across the bloodline as the heel that had just lost to Johnny Knoxville, still like going on about a conspiracy theory and when he was going to get
when's the documentary coming out?
When's the document? Where's the doc, Sammy? Like there.
Pete.
He was a heel, joining a heel stable that became a babyface from within that effectively babyfaced the stable, or at least
bit with the popcorn. I always remember.
I love that bit so much. The rule of three gag with Roman Reigns and popcorn. Like getting
they were watching. Was it a Jey match?
They're watching the Jey Uso match, and Sami Zayn's because he's like, I think you should get on with Jey. I think he's all right. I brought some popcorn. Everyone's like looking at him, and then it cuts back, and like Sami Zayn's getting excited. The popcorn's going everywhere, and you think is Roman going to kill him? Third reveal, Roman's got popcorn as well. That's all right, actually. Like that, they were really making magic in that period. So he's tweened Roman Reigns and babyfaced the whole group, and he's so talented. He's doing the reverse of that now. He's healing himself within the babyface group of Jey Uso, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, whoever, the babyface supporters of Jey Uso. We want the belt, but with the supporters of you broadly. He is such a sinister little prick in the pauses in these Jey Uso locker room segments, and this is the third week they've done them two in the locker room, and I feel like that's by design now because Sami Zayn is the closest to him, and that's the visual element of that every week. All of these sharks in this Raw pool, they're coming for you. Even CM Punk, I probably wouldn't trust him all the way. Not like me though. We're gonna be friends to the end, all the way down. Sami and Jey, like it's the Rick and Morty gag. Sami and Jey forever and ever. We're gonna be doing merch. We're gonna be Bloodline forever. I'm gonna kill you. Brilliant.
Such validation for being a 2000s smark.
Yes,
John Cena's rubbish and Generico rules.
Yes, because he can do it all.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
and if you don't know much about Generico, check to whatculture.com/WWE for a little sort of doing a forbidden law of El Generico. So that's going to be in the can soon.
What's I got to do, Sami Zayn?
Sami Zayn's acknowledged that he was El Generico. I'm going to get so many dickheads from Reddit going, hey, in an orphanage. Shut off.
Hang on, what? Did Sami Zayn's El Generico? Yeah. For real?
This changes everything.
I'll tell you what, right?
That was a loss for the old IWC. That was a loss when they took the mask off, and it was like, he's an incredible baby face. Well, thank God they're showing his face.
I can't remember what I was researching. I think it's something to do with Malakai Black, obviously. Because he's
got you.
But there was a thread from after the Adam Cole match. No, it was like something like the House of Black clarify that Malakai Black's not leaving, even though he's got 3 dates left, and they didn't know that at the time. And the amount of comments on the Squared Circle thread that are like, see, like, how dumb do you have to be to have like your like modus operandi be? But you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do to really show the dirt sheets? Just take professional wrestlers at face value. That's what I'm going to do. And that the entire thread's that. These idiots don't know anything. Like, well, the wrestler told you himself. The wrestler told you himself that, you stupid. How many matches did he have left? How many? After that Adam Cole, it was 3. There was 3 of them. Jesus!
It's like what Karrion Kross says he does to the WWE roster. Malakai Black has done to you.
No, it's him, it's Reddit, it's everything. It's all of them.
I want him to turn up on SmackDown this week for his latest Miz match in like a Hawaiian shirt or something.
There was one as well, and it was I think it was on the AEW official Not Squared Circle. It's still Reddit. Like, oh dear, WhatCulture. Oh dear. And it was like an aggregated report for a start of like update on Malakai Black departure rumors, and it was like, oh, the wrestler has gone on Instagram to tell you, oh yeah, I'm not leaving. See, you know who you can trust in this life is a professional wrestler. So why don't you shut up, dirt sheets? And it was like you had 3 matches left, and like every comment is like, yeah, no, he's getting booked great. He's having a great time in AEW. He's doing some great. Why wouldn't he stay? It's because he wanted to leave. He didn't probably go in the first place, bro, and he wanted to leave in 2022.
Well,
so that's probably got something to do with it.
We'll not get a chance to review SmackDown, but I love him dodging the no jobs accusation by hitting his finisher and then not taking him fit in the triple. What's the finish? How about I calls that? Yeah, but you're not winning. Never said anything about losing.
Looks like my work here is done.
Why not both?
Then there was the triple threat tag team title match between the New Day, the War Raiders, and the Creed Brothers. New Day and Creed Brothers have formed an alliance, of course. Early on, well, they actually brawl before the bell even rings, get some dives in there. Eric gets sent into the steps, and the Creeds and the New Day celebrate together as we go to a break. When we come back, Ivar comes in and cleans house, crossbodies a couple of them, sends some people outside, goes up top. Kofi hits a kick. Julius catches Eric up top and hits a superplex. Julius is still great. Ivar hit a big splash for 2. There was a Brutus ball onto the outside from Brutus Creed. Kofi tried to take out Ivar, but he just caught him and squished him against the side of the ring. Ivar goes up top, but Julius Creed knocked him off with a leaping kick, and then suddenly Xavier just rolled up Julius to get the 1, 2, 3, and the Creeds can't believe it.
Oh, bloody hell. A nothing match for so much going on, and that's the theme of these tag matches. Here, right?
It's pronounced Fed.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen when
you get it
over the next couple of weeks? Because we've highlighted on SmackDown how they were absolutely faking that this tag division was crazy. It's like they're all running into each other's matches. It was chaos. It didn't feel remotely chaotic or good. And then, sort of by force of will, it's gotten good. Yeah. Matches are really delivering. Fraxium have helped exponentially. DIY are quite fun as heels. Street Profits should be the champions.
Yeah.
Like the Guns are teasing the heel turn. Like, it really does feel like they've kind of worked their way into a bit of a shoot with this tag division, and it's actually become. So what I'm asking is for Triple H to copy old Road Dogg's homework.
Yes.
Because will he want credit for that now? Will he want people actually praising the SmackDown tag division when they were faking it for a bit? I'm the one across that. I'll take it from here, Dog. Like I sense that's what he's trying with Raw. Like, it's not over. They're not in a story.
There's 3 tag teams.
Yeah,
they've been doing nothing.
But that was the SmackDown template, and it's sort of by force of will. This is what I'm saying. They need to chuck a couple of other tag teams in there, but. Is that what he's attempting? By force of will?
Tank in there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just a call up or whatever. And it's, can chuck them in as well. We'll rotate the matches. Really dangerous TLC could help. Work for the other guys. It does feel like that's his attempt to just keep having these work rate matches and hope that another team getting in the mix. Oh God, Postman Pierce. I can't keep. I don't know. Smith bloody tag teams. Maybe it'll work again. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it, but that feels like a tactical choice at this point because it's not entertaining.
No. Can't remember. I honestly can't remember. This is very much in the genre of there's a new bad. There's the old bad, get it out of your goddamn heads, ain't ever coming back. That, people can't barely move correctly. They're botching stuff left and right. They're grabbing holds out of nowhere because they've got no idea what they're doing. There has long since been an established, syntax of a modern pro wrestling match where, when an old wrestling match, you say, why are you stopping there? Or why have you gone into doing that when you were doing that previously? There has long been this set of guidelines drawn up to the order in which a wrestling match is meant to go, and there has long since been a standard, mostly, look at Zelina Vega, it's still there, but there's long since been an acceptable working standard of, you can do these moves that were once considered cool or cutting edge or whatever, there is a new bad of total bland competence. This is pretty much the new baseline. Some NXT and Zelina Vega and Impact outliers, you know. This is the new bad. This is the new bad. It's just nothing. I'll never remember it. It made no emotional impact on me whatsoever. It was just there. Soulless collection of stuff, vaguely well done in the right order.
I think, you know, when words get used so much that they lose all meaning, I think one of the worst for that in wrestling is high risk. You hear it, you say it. Like we joke about like stands tall. Somebody's always got bloody stand tall. And then are they really stand that tall? Because I don't feel like I'm looking up at them. You know, high risk is the same. Because these matches now are filled with
too much bloody
spots.
risk. There's no risk.
There's not a single shred of risk. It's like, well, he's going up to do that thing that everybody does every single week and every single match. So that's actually the safest thing to do, if anything. Like, high risk is probably just like getting involved in like submission ground game.
Yeah.
Because like there's a bit like don't do that with Natalia. She was a blood spot. That's high risk. Like going at the top, safe as houses. Like you're probably gonna hit your move and get two. I would say that's how that's gonna go.
Being too close to Natalia for the sharpshooter be a risky proposition.
Yeah, just reminded me there the bit where they had the row on NXT Battleground where Valkyria goes up top and Joseph was like, "Oof, you know, very rare you see her go up there." And Corey goes like, "You joking? You see her go up there all the time?" He's like, no, because he's literally playing into the finish and he's trying to build it up and Corey Graves has completely cut it out from underneath it.
Yeah.
Of like, well, no, I think you're gonna have to do the spiral tap.
There's a spiral tap. Yeah, that's a super finisher.
We're gonna need to do that to really finish it off. And Corey Graves going, "Yeah, it does it all the time. Don't worry about it." So
Shut up, man.
shut up, Corey. Listen to Booker apparently.
That's why he would like double travel Gravy in him during Trick's entrance. He must say it like 4 times. Hey, Gravy. And like, you can tell Corey Graves, if he acknowledges it, then he's stuck with it forever. But he just keeps Gravy in him. All those guys.
It's class. Liv and Raquel bump into Io and Kairi Sane backstage. Morgan's surprised to see them because she thought Damage Control was dead. And Sky basically tells him to keep walking. Morgan says, "I'm going to win Money in the Bank and cash in on you." And Sane cuts a promo in Japanese and effectively sets up the match that we're going to get in a few minutes' time. Then Jey Uso comes out to cut a promo, but he barely gets into it before Gunther comes out to congratulate Jey. 15-year anniversary in WWE. First title defense against Logan Paul. "Hey, you've already held the belt longer than I expected," said Gunther. That made me laugh. Look, I know I can see you want to be captain of this ship, but there's a lot going on. You know, when your friends need you, you're there for them. No questions asked. That is great qualities for a human being, but terrible qualities for a champion. I was champion for almost a year because the only person I cared about was me. You don't have the intellect to understand how to carry yourself as a great champion. When we wrestle in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to make things right. I'm going to relieve you of your position, choke you out, and put the title back around my waist where it belongs. Jey fires back saying, "I'm done with people saying my days as champion are numbered. I've got friends, I've got family, and I fight for them, and they fight for me. I'm fighting for more than what Gunther's fighting for. He's fighting for the fans' support, and he's going to make Gunther tap out again in Phoenix."
Loved it. I really, really love, put it over last week, whenever it was that they first made it clear it was going to be this. Just love the contrast between these two so much still. And this is just nice that WWE is still doing it when a lot of other of the tenets the last few years are starting to fall. Gunther telling him that Sami Zayn's going to turn on you, and Jey Uso, the character, not even acknowledging that and actually going on to double down. Sami Zayn's not going to turn on me. Like, it's that's proper in-universe booking of how these characters should be and how they should behave, and it's ostensibly nothing to do with this Sami Zayn match, especially not now, based on how Money in the Bank went later on this. You know, there might be a losers match.
Imagine picking Sami Zayn to win Money in the Bank. Bloody idiot.
So yeah, I really love these two together.
Yeah.
Like, Gunther is the perfect rival storyline-wise for Jey Uso. Hope they can have a better match than they did at WrestleMania, because it does lower the ceiling on all of this. But in terms of where the characters are and what the characters say and how real it feels, love this.
Seth with that briefcase, presumably, hanging over.
Potentially, yeah.
There's still dissension in the Judgment Day. There are still only 3 tag teams on Raw feuding with one another. Chad Gable is still wrestling the Luchadors almost exclusively as part of that gimmick. Punk is still feuding with Seth Rollins. Jey is still feuding with Gunther. Like, hell, you do something else. What else you got? I'm serious.
Which is it?
I'm
Sidg?
absolutely serious.
You get long ones or you get 2 weekers with Pat
You
and
can do
Gunther
long
and-
but good,
and-
long but good, long but good, long but good.
But no, they're all good. You want both. Like you get these 2-week mini programs for Saturday Night's Main Event and backlashes, and you get longer ones.
Come on, even Reddit's on this now. Come on, don't fall
Oh,
behind.
Reddit!
Don't fall behind
I thought,
Reddit.
didn't we just hate Reddit? What
Yeah,
are
I'm
we doing?
saying don't fall behind Reddit.
Okay, what are Reddit saying?
Just everyone's saying it. Everything's going on too long.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go with the program.
Yeah, but if it's good,
It's okay. We can't relitigate is Jey Uso a word?
No.
Yeah, we can't do that. Let's just move on. I can't do it anymore.
I'll tell you what's new, and that's Cody Rhodes' new podcast that they were advertising with a lot of branding all over the place,
I'm still feeding with John Cena. That's fine. That's all right.
and Brandy Rhodes. So it's going to knock us down a peg or two in the podcast charts again.
like Stephanie McMahon has.
Yeah, we'll get it back. Don't
We're
worry.
above the dead man now, though.
Yeah, it all evens out in the end.
I'm kind of losing interest in that. I got my LFG money coming through.
I'm running out of story.
There is a tiny bit of me, and we're never going to do it. We'd love to go and the four of us go and watch the Dead Man show.
You know, there's
what
another
this-
podcast that did that for the
terrific.
For the Express, it was the Lapsed Fan. They went to see one Dead Man show because they had the same view of the Dead Man as we do. They went for the express purpose of knowing they wouldn't like it and just how bad is this or can we take the piss, and they just said what a total regret.
Yeah.
Like just it was not even worthwhile for Schadenfreude or to feel better than him or to feel better. Just like he tells these stories, not even stories, they're stupid, and they get like really childishly like tantrum about it. They're not even good stories, they're stupid.
He just talks about getting in a car with a guy and driving. That's how we got here. Can't believe he kept this in the vault for 30 years.
I know.
It was
Papa Shango, what?
It was a hectic weekend for the Dadley Boyz, of course, but I was awoken very early in the hours this morning from texts from both of them, actually, unrelated to Newcastle making the Champions League and Sunderland winning the playoffs to get into the Premier League next season. Michael Sidgwick actually texted me saying, "Oh my God, is that Patrick Maroon, the hockey player?" And Michael Hamflett simply texted me the word "Flacker" because Michael Flacker Flame was there at ringside as well. And I was excited because Titus O'Neil was there. So we're all happy.
Yeah, everyone got something.
We all get something.
Good weekend.
And then we got Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane. Morgan hit a sunset flip powerbomb outside to take us to a break early. When we come back, Liv's trying to do the Three Amigos, but Kairi fights out of it and hits a spear, some axe handles and a crossbody. Liv comes back with a code breaker to get a 2 count. Kairi hits a backhand and a forearm, gets 2. Liv hits a backstabber, but Kairi fights back, goes up top, and Roxanne Perez appears as Raquel is taking the referee, I should say, to shove Kairi off the top. But then Roxanne and Raquel argue at ringside. This distracts Liv, and as she tries to hit Kairi with Oblivion, Kairi counters it to get the 1-2-3.
It was just good to see Liv Morgan trying to help another youngster along on their path to be a pro wrestler here. It's just nice to see I love Liv Morgan, but how was this match? Like her as maybe it's a WWE style thing, and maybe Kairi Sane since returning has simply not found her way back, because NXT Kairi Sane, like she proved effortlessly that she could transition to a slightly different style. She understood that character was going to be key, got over massively. This is not like Kairi Sane erasure from her prior run. This second run has been like a constant. Is it going to be good this week? Is it going to and I'm just talking about in like ways big and small. Like as a heel, she slotted in fine as like a part of the Damage Qatar that basically became tag heaters ultimately. Fine. But whenever these like singles spotlight moments or seemingly like big opportunities,
general
win matches, yeah, kind of. Stuff goes awry, or she doesn't seem to be there for things, or like they're just not in the same postcode.
She lives in her own world.
And Liv Morgan,
she's daydreaming. I'm headed to work. Get to work.
Liv Morgan is like
it's just daydreaming.
Liv Morgan is turning
day tripper. Kairi Sane. I'm not suggesting she does drugs. It was just riffing.
The turning Liv Morgan babyface, right? So there was elements of this match where they were kind of like trying to seed that a bit.
Yeah.
Less cheating heel, and then they'd follow up on that later on where she was trying to not be biased against Roxanne Perez and trying to be smart enough to spot that. That's why that happened. Come on. So that's Liv Morgan's got a couple of different roles here.
Yeah, she said, you're the veteran. You should have known better, Raquel.
Yeah.
And stormed off.
So
Bálor was loving this, of course.
Within the match and within the show, they're trying to do something elegant here with Liv Morgan, where she's still got to be her from the last couple of years, but also they're kind of like trying to see the babyface turn. So there was elements where, she's just out wrestling her, or she's actually wise to this, or she's more technical or whatever. But then there were other times where you're watching this as a shoot and you're like, well, it's a good job she got to that part of the ring. Otherwise, what the hell was that going to look like? And there were a few of them. And I've loved Liv Morgan's work of late, but here it was necessary rather than just like a continuing pleasant evolution of her character.
Me and Hamflett had the exact same independent thought, which we shared with one another over the desks this morning of, bloody hell, got to Liv Morgan Karrion Sane. What the hell's happened to this business? What the hell's happened to life itself? Oh my God, there's a part where they just, you probably like this, you dirty old bollocks, there's a part where she just fell on top of her.
Yeah.
And then it was like trying to it's like, oh God, how's she going to lift the shoulder up? Just Kairi Sane just straight up fell on top of her with pretty much her whole body weight, which I know is not much, but like, I worried that it was going to be like a 2.9. Do the kick out? No, it's over, because this was really botchy. Really, just Kairi Sane is just a daydreamer. Yeah. He loves this bit. Not that we do bits. So that
you sound a bit like,
wake up, Kairi.
You sound like a parent, on the sidelines at a football game.
It is.
Yeah, there's an element of that actually. Yeah.
Switch on, man, Kairi. Remember the training, man. He told you. Not that I do that with James. I'm honestly, for how much of a little Raj I can be, you'd be shocked at how encouraging I am with them during sport. I'm never one of these where you're up again, man. Some parents at the football who are like this,
You're so right about mentally about the wrestlers.
I'm the opposite.
When the wrestlers you love, I've had that a bit with Bailey last year, and you're just like,
wake up, man.
Yeah, wake up, come on.
I'm honestly with my kids, in the house, they can do my head in. And I say, it's unacceptable. It's the 10th time you've asked. Please stop it. It's football. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
You're doing great. That was absolutely wonderful,
Yeah.
James. Keep doing that. Some of these other parents, man. Honestly, it's like, you're up again. Yeah, they don't F-bomb and all the rest of it, but it is like, away, man, track back.
They've watched that Beckham.
Well, what was that pass? That was hopeless, that.
They've watched that Beckham documentary and gone, got it. That's what I want to take away from this.
God.
His dad's horrible to him. Got it.
Not being funny, when they reach the age that James is at, these are the other teams. All the ones that are on his team, all the parents are canny. But you hear the other teams' dads of the kids. Is that not being funny, right? We took them on the little trip to the Newcastle United training centre for we're going to do a game against 2 years younger because they're going to batter you. You don't want to be in the same age group. It would be like a slaughter. If you are, and I'm just telling you this to be nice, you need to hear it from someone, and you need to hear it now. Is that if you are the parent of an under 10, under 11, even at this point, an under 9 Sunday League team, I'm not saying that your kid's got no chance of making it as a professional footballer, but they've got next to no chance. I've seen these under 8 kids play against under 10s, academy kids. I've seen first 11s under Mike Ashley play worse as a team than these kids. It's coming home, by the way. It is coming home. If Lamine Yamal gets injured before a major tournament in the next 15 years, it's coming home.
We get a video promo from Rhea about Money in the Bank. And then during the break, just wanted to mention him, we hear from Vic Joseph.
Oh! Teachable moment!
About Trick Williams being on tonight, as it is now, NXT, being the new TNA champion. And this was also during the break where Chad Gable got chinned by AJ Styles, basically. And then we had the Judgment Day meeting backstage, and then Lyra Valkyria comes out. She said she was looking forward to facing someone new, but Becky groveled and begged until she convinced those in the back to get a title rematch at Money in the Bank. Obviously, Lyra accepted, but she's already beaten her twice. She never cared in the past what her opponents said about her, because once she beat him in the ring, she was the ultimate winner. But she felt no satisfaction beating Lynch at Backlash, because her ego is still through the roof. She got out-wrestled, she got beaten, and yet she was out here talking like she won the match. She's trying to steal an opportunity from the next person. She made it personal by getting in her fiance's face and trying to break her arm. She said she's going to bash Becky Lynch's head in if she had to. Becky Lynch interrupts us. She says, you're the one who made it personal by costing me the opportunity for Money in the Bank. You might have won our match, but I won the night. I went home with my hot husband, Lyra Falls, and you went to the hospital with your weird fiance, and Lyra fires back by saying, your husband's the only talented thing about you. And Lynch says, yeah, there you go.
Not really.
Bad line. Lynch says, you're making it personal again. I'm the best thing to happen to you and that IC title. And Lyra says, the only reason people are talking about you is because I beat you. But there's an offer from Becky Lynch. If you beat me at Money in the Bank, Lyra, I'll never challenge you for the title again. Lyra's like, oh, I've done it twice already. That sounds good to me. I've beaten you with my eyes closed, basically. But Becky says, look, I raised your hand in NXT after you beat me, graciously. And I want you to return the favour at Money in the Bank if I win. Lyra accepts, saying, I have no trouble raising the hand of the winner because it's never been you.
I like this a lot. I didn't care for the Seth Rollins, LJ Clear. It just felt like a real forced way to wedge in just to remind you that...
Why do the wrestlers keep doing this? Do they think every week... Sorry, I know I'm stepping on your dick here. Do they think every single week, oh, God, this is such a cool, edgy line. I'm going to get such an pop for it. It's just, it never gets a pop. This
so-and-so and so-and-so, your partner?
Yeah, it's... how many more times must this fail?
Yeah.
For people to get over it?
And like, all the more annoying.
Bad booking alarm.
Yeah. Terrible trope alarm.
All the more annoying, because I really like the rest of this. Lyra Valkyria has come into her own very quickly in this Becky Lynch story, and it's partly down to the committed booking of having a win. And yes, they've done the Becky Lynch attacks after the fact to get a heat back, but then it's been in service of a pretty good story, because then Lyra Valkyria has the agency to cost her something just as big in Money in the Bank. Like it's A to B to C stuff, but undeniably, I think there for Lyra Valkyria to benefit massively from this is getting the rub. And by the way, even if Becky Lynch wins the belt at the pay-per-view, Lyra Valkyria has gotten the rub. The follow-up is really important. If she loses this belt, it's how they treat that character after the fact. But the raising of the arm when Becky Lynch is politicked, and they're saying it out front, and it's a fun part of the story, has politicked her way into a title shot where Lyra Valkyria might have to raise her arm. Again, is the contrast to how Bayley would do it. And with or without that Intercontinental title, Becky and Bayley is something big down the line, and Evolution 2 has just been announced, and that feels as good as anything for Evolution 2. Like, they're doing the work for this Becky Lynch character, this new person. You can easily believe the Becky Lynch character has thrown a tantrum and used her stroke to get this title match. You can't do that with every character, but you can definitely do it with some. And Lyra Valkyria is being the believable, confident babyface that wants to just back herself. And I think you can feel fans backing her along the way as well. I think it's good stuff.
This is weird, right? It's working for me and it isn't. I thought some of the content of the promo was rubbish. Like Becky
the line
Lynch.
about a rat that I thought of, like when they were like, she's like a rat with some cheese. And I was like, oh, Sidg isn't going to like that line.
No. The content of this is pretty poor, if you ask me. And you are, because it's on the podcast. And there's some edgy, relationship-y, just bobbins stuff that never gets a pop. Becky sometimes is pretty cringe when she plays heel. Yeah. Like, pretty cringe, and I'm getting echoes of that. And yet, it's always really effective. Lyra Valkyria is getting the fabled rub from Becky Lynch because she seems to be getting confident within herself. She is getting more of a reaction. She does feel like she's more of a big deal on this program. So, yeah, it's odd. It's working for me and for everybody else, and it also is pretty lame crap.
It's to the
Work that out.
Well, when it was big time Bex and most of the show was crap.
Remember when she was gone a bit Golemy? She went a bit Golemy once. She was talking about like a precious title and
yes.
Yeah.
The matches go so far with Becky Lynch because they deliver more than they don't. You're like, well, do your saying stuff bit, and then let's get to the match, because then by and large that delivers.
Yeah. Did you immediately think, right? Well, Becky's winning the title, and then you're going to have the spot at Money in the Bank where it's like, fine, come on. And like Bayley's music, hopefully old Bayley's music hits, and Becky tries to run away, and Lyra like grabs her arm, like, no, where do you think you're going?
Yeah. But like that's if it can encourage you, even in defeat, for Lyra Valkyria to sort of think of the next thing, then they're doing something right. Like Becky from the very beginning, these promos, I agree with Sidg, like these promos often skew way too cheesy. But like think about, she had the rematch with Bianca Belair, skin of her teeth stuff, and then Sasha Banks returns and she does the like
that was quite good.
She's got it in her to get it right, but then I think as a result, and I think she visualizes those moments, but sometimes.
Or you just shoot it really close in and you see an arm raising Becky Lynch's hand. Surprise, actually, Bailey. She hasn't seen this coming.
You joke, right? But how good was that one with The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy underneath CM Punk that time?
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
Like, there are ways to do that in a certain way. When the building's making the noise and you haven't clocked on yet at home, there are ways for that to be all right.
My God, that 2009 Punk, man, on SmackDown. That's one of the most I've fallen in love with a wrestler, that run on SmackDown, that story with Jeff Hardy. It was so great.
Oh, you know me and my kind of like singles Jeff. I go, one more run, Jeff. Yeah, don't screw it up. And as a result, everything screws you up for all the reasons why these things cannot coexist,
they can't,
mate.
they
But like,
can't.
you get a singles run, you get the hell away from your brother, and you still mean something to me, pal.
He's like, what a perfect
God.
dynamic. A really well told story.
Yeah.
Remarkable considering what was going on Raw at the time.
Yeah.
One of the few times I've been like, Raw stuck. You've seen the SmackDown stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Aye.
2009.
Punk and Jeff Hardy having like trilogy booking, really, and it getting better with each match.
Oh,
and the
God,
promos were amazing. Meanwhile, on Raw, who's this week's guest host? I hate myself.
Punk's delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, he was awesome.
The week when he's dressed as Jeff.
That was the end. That was like the code. I want
The
it.
full reveal. It's me, assholes.
That was the last bit.
Yeah.
Perfect. One of the best perfect A to Z stories they ever told.
Jeff took his personal time and then was hit with like a litany of legal problems.
Oh, he left?
No, that's what I mean. He just
yeah.
left. Then all of a sudden,
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, all this stuff comes out. The police have knocked on and they've found a lot of stuff. It's like, this could be real bad. That's good timing that. And now Jeff can maybe go away for a couple of years, figure stuff out. 3 months later, darkness at the top.
I've drawn a belt. What? Anyway, Sami Zayn's walking out for the main event, the triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier, Finn Balor, Sami, and Seth Rollins. But before he gets there, he is confronted by Karrion Kross.
Oh my God.
Here we are again, he says, Sami. Trying to crawl your way back to the top. You just got to SmackDown and got a world title match, dickhead. You're trying to earn it the right way, though. You know you're never going to win the title, right? He's the best. Huge pop as well for Karrion. There's a sign as well in the crowd I saw for.
The cult thing continues to work for Karrion Kross. And yeah, it's worth not forgetting because it would be easy to forget. Sami Zayn could have taken the easy route. But he's such a good guy. Like, when inevitably isn't a good guy, that's going to be there from the very beginning. He had the easy route. Why now? Like, they're trying to be good is ultimately what's made him bad. And that's, like, from the very beginning, it's clear how much they've thought about this and plotted this out.
Just love Karrion Kross, man.
Are you leaning towards this, the Gentile industry?
No,
plan
it's
stuff?
him who's done it.
Yeah.
I don't think the machine's behind him at all.
Yeah.
This machine is not behind Karrion Kross at all. I think Levesque likes him. I mean, look, he's his large adult son. We've seen it with NXT. I think he's ambivalent. Like, he likes him.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hardly accuse Triple H of getting on the Karrion Kross bandwagon.
To a degree, I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle of Karrion Kross putting himself on Van Vliet and Hell. Was it on Helwani?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know if he's going into like blue tick DMs, like, put my stuff over. It seems like he's doing a lot of work to try and create the impression that there's a grassroots campaign of support. Respect the hustle. I'm seeing through it.
So then we got Sami versus Finn versus Seth for the Money in the Bank spot. Finn just let Sami attack Seth before getting involved in it. He hit a double DDT on Seth and Sami to take us to a break early on. When we come back, Zayn takes out both of them with a nice Sabu-inspired springboard moonsault. Goes for a Blue Thunder even. Seth turns that into a Falcon Arrow for 2. Seth goes for a pedigree. That gets blocked. Finn hits a sling blade. But Sami catches him up top with a superplex. The Seth then frog splashes onto Sami to take us to another break. When we come back, Rollins and Finn have formed an alliance, but Zayn fights them both off. Rollins hit Bálor, but Bálor with a pedigree. But Zayn crucifixes Rollins for a 2 count. Rollins then hits Zayn with a pedigree. But that gets a 2 count as well. Zayn and Rollins go back and forth until Zayn hit a Blue Thunder Bomb for a nice near fall. There's an exploder in the corner, but as Sami Zayn's going for a haluva kick, Bálor cuts him off with a sling blade, drop kicks both men, goes for the coup de grace, but they both dodge it. Rollins stomps Bálor. Zayn hit Rollins with a haluva kick. He's got it won, but at the last second, he gets pulled out of the ring by, of course, Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed's there as well. They attack Sami Zayn until Jey Uso shows up to take them both out with a dive off the barricade. Super kicks for everybody as well, but Rollins gets involved, and that allows Braun to recover to spear Jey Uso. Reed also just kills Zayn into the ring post. Dom runs through the crowd and wants to help Finn, in theory, slides the chair into the ring. It's meant to go to Bálor, but it basically just lands perfectly in position so that when Finn tries to get to it, he gets curb stomped onto it by Seth Rollins, who gets the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Rollins wants Reed and Braun to continue killing everybody, but CM Punk's music hits, and Braun and Bronson head up the ramp to try and cut him off at the pass, but CM Punk slides in behind and hits Rollins with a GTS and then just bails through the crowd.
Dream last 15 minutes of Raw for me, this, because the match on paper, Sami Zayn notwithstanding, is not something I want to watch. But yet again, I would say it's probably the third time this has happened recently. Evidence, if you can call it that, because I know that makes it a bit more objective, but evidence of a fashion that...
It's evidence, not proof.
The Judgment Day stuff, the new Paul Heyman group stuff, Punk, whatever.
Oh, such an asshole.
It's all working because the overlap in here was tremendous. It elevated the match, which was actually like trending like quite hot in the building. These,
you can say it in front of us.
I know these Finn Balor matches.
It's quite well done.
They're getting over, right? They're getting back over again. But
This is quite well done.
Yeah, it was well worked. But like, what isn't these days? What else you got?
Yeah,
like,
this wasn't quite new bad though.
No, I want to credit all the other
It's
overlapping
actually dramatic.
Well, and I want to. That's it. I want to put over all the overlapping stories because they were all folded in here. They enhanced the match, helped it, kept the building hot before they could get bored of all the moves, and genuinely like contributed to just an overall better presentation. I use all the time because it's just an example of for me, like kind of pristine fed TV booking is those Cody +1 versus Judgment Day tag matches.
Yes.
Because the overlapping of the various stories of all those characters at the time made them hot every week. And if you were to look at Cage Match, and it would look like friggin' Hurt Business versus Apollo Crews, the amount of seeming repetition. Never felt that way because there was always different stories and angles and ways in which to tell it with maybe the same collection of sort of 10 to 12 wrestlers. This was that. And all of it was over and all of it was hot. And it again painted the picture of a main event scene that is fluid and exciting and you want to see that. And B, the constant never-ending threat to the world heavyweight champion, even from his mates. And they're wrestlers. They're supposed to come to work to fight for a belt at the end of all of this. No, I really, really like this.
Thought the match was an over-delivery considering Seth Rollins was in it. This has happened more than once in WWE this year, so smidgen. Well, Smidgwick of credit. I'm not going to do match of the year conversation. Not even match of the week. Not even match of the night, as case may be on Raw. I do the post match if you want. Did you do it?
Did it already.
Yeah, CM Punk.
So over, isn't it? He's maybe hotter than ever as a babyface.
Right, here's the thing about this, right? He gets very, very, very loud reactions. I don't necessarily understand why. And he's a massive megastar. I mean, I've got PDS. I'll never deny that. It's just weird how it seems to be getting louder like he's done so much more entertaining, important stuff in WWE in this run than this endless program of Seth Rollins. When you're over, you're over. I mean, look at The Rock in 1999.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a credit to the stories he was telling. It's just the fact that he's there and he's a star. Like The Rock was working British Bulldog and Mr. Ass. And, you know, CM Punk's working Seth Rollins, so it's pretty much the same thing. Is it not? Maybe it's just pure relief that the star turned up at the end. It cannot be on merit of what he's doing right now.
Well, maybe this is the middle. Maybe this is the middle of that. The more, and I said this from the very beginning, is it not just as simple as the more he's embedded within like the narrative universe, the more the fans like him? Like the more he is part.
Is it Seth again?
No, well, anybody. Punk I'm talking about. Like,
I think he's just an over guy.
He's an over guy. He's a massive star.
Yeah.
Beloved in this current
irrespective
role.
of what he's doing, just like The Rock, like I just said.
But he's just in the week. Like, this is building to like a feud with Bronson Reed, for example. I love CM Punk, and even I'm not like that hyped for that. But people in the buildings, this kind of contemporary WWE audience at present, it's like, oh, great. Like we've still got, they have been, where WWE does deserve credit, is they've been very, very disciplined with the Punk matches. Like you could forget that he's had one of the TV matches of the year against Sami Zayn, because down the line there's going to be an actual program with him. Like the Punk, it's a long list of matches.
He's got that special attraction vibe going for him.
And yet he's now feeling in the weeds at the same time. That might be contributing to the volume and the excitement seemingly going up.
You'll know this as much as anyone. Steve Austin, most over guy in wrestling history in terms of in the buildings. If you did the math calc and trick, he was probably associated directly with The Undertaker in Attitude Era storylines for about 60% of it.
Yeah.
So Seth Rollins is The Undertaker in 1999. Except he's got no presence. I just don't get it. All I will say is CM Punk's really over. I'll never deny that.
The sinistry of darkness.
Yes. If you ever denied that, you'd become just a complete moron, bad faith, loser, grifter, which I'll never aspire to be, right? I've never, since July to August 2021 to now, we're like, oh my God, CM Punk's doing something. Even when it's bracelet gate and there's controversy and divided opinion, back to, he's just doing GOAT stuff in AEW to, look, I don't like Collision very much. I think he's in there too long, but my God, he's going to explode and he's a bomb. I can't wait to read about it on Twitter the next. I've never, ever been less interested in CM Punk in my life. He's never been doing more repetitive, boring stuff. Loud, yes. Boring and repetitive, almost certainly. Well done, Paul Levesque. You've made CM Punk's career, to someone who's not massively in the weeds of the Fed and the way they do things, to someone like me, I've never been less interested in following this dude's career. It's not necessarily the work. It's Levesque's boring booking. It's me. You know what it is next week? June. And he's still feuding with Seth Rollins.
That's not his name. It's freaking.
It's sorry. Okay, strike that from the record, sir.
Need to watch the shows.
Well, let us know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw and Saturday Night's main event in the comments section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all four of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
You can follow our producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be back later on to preview NXT and talk about NXT Battleground and, of course, review AEW Double or Nothing. But for now, it's been the Raw review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.